Good evening, Sakar. Just let's take a few minutes to settle down and let others to join. Good evening, Karan. Good evening, Nilanjan. Rudra Narayan. I have never seen that name in the class. Rudra Narayan, have you joined? Hello. Rudra Narayan. So what? Where do we passport JS? Passport JS? I'm not sure. Let me check. Authenticate is another authentication middleware. Yeah. Just like we have uh, okay. Um, so what you can do is yeah. What you can do is issue with passport JS is, have you seen all these all these websites where there are uh, ways of logging in using uh, Google or Facebook or something like that? Have you seen that, Ekta? Log in, sorry, Yesho, log in with Facebook, log in with you Google account. So you can use Passport JS to build those features up. Okay, so there will be a middleware layer. Whenever a request come to a page, it will go through that layer. It will go to Facebook, checks whether the token is correct, and then you can sign in. Okay, so that's my hunch about Passport.js. If you understand the overall framework, then these small pockets will be very easy to fit in. It will not take much time to fit these small apps and small libraries. Okay. Is it related to single sign-on? Yes, it is. It is. It is just that. So whenever you do sign in using Google, you need self password just yeah. Here's how it works. Okay, okay, Karan. Suppose I go to a website and the website says you can log in using Google. Okay. Now what will happen? A user will click on this link and then a request will go to Google. Google will send the username and password or token for that user, and then you are going to authenticate that user. So this process will happen like this. First, the request will come to a request will come to a point, uh, API gateway or access point. Access point. I'll call it access point. Request will come to access point. This access point will be connected to a router that will send it to a middleware. In the middleware, we'll have a passport. Uh, we'll have a passport call. This will be our middleware. This middleware is going to call whatever service. So passport.connect, and this is going to connect to say Google. Then whatever input you have sent will be sent to Google. Google will return the data, and then once Google returns you the data, uh, so this will return some data. That data is further passed down to sign in API, sign in controller. Okay, this data will contain something like username and something like ID or something, maybe username and ID. And now it will go to sign in, and sign in will return a token that can be used to log in into the website. Okay, is the flow clear? Yeah, here Google authentication acts as a middleware for new sign up, sign in. Yeah, sign in and sign up, that is correct. Yes, yes, sure, that is true. So you might have seen that, or you might have seen this pattern getting followed at multiple places. Suppose you have a payment that you have to do with suppose this is not this probably will not use passport.js, but I'll just explain what is happening here using another example. Suppose you are making a payment on a website using Google Pay. Now what will happen? You will say I will pay using Google Pay. It will go to a page, and that will page will keep on loading. It will keep on buffering, and then you go to your Google Pay app and pay this amount, and suddenly this page goes back to your bank account and say that you have completed the transaction. This typically happens when you go to a website for, so suppose you go to Swiggy and start paying with Google Pay. So there will be a loading page, and then you go back. So what is happening here is there is a middleware call. Middleware is calling Google, and once middleware returns, the controller says okay, the payment is done, and it returns. Okay. So that's another way where middlewares can come in handy. Yasho, does that answer your question? Yashovardhan? Yashovardhan, is your complete name Yashovardhan Singh? Okay, sorry, I know some Yashovardhan other than you, so for authentication only. Okay, then no need to write controller for sign in and sign up. You still might have to write Likit. You still might have to write depending on whether you are allowing email address sign in and sign up, and you also have to send a token, the JWT take token. You cannot send the JWT token from middleware. Does that make sense? You'll have to fetch the token and send it back. So you still need a controller. But in middleware, you can do a lot of uh, heavy lifting. Basically, instead of in previously in middleware, you are checking. No, yeah, in the middleware you can do some heavy lifting. That's all. Previously, we were checking in the controller what was the password. We are matching the password. This time we are checking with the service in the middleware. Anyways, now, so what is the agenda for today's class? There is something left from the previous class. I want to complete that part. And if time permits, I'm going to uh, start talking about the notification service that we are going to build. But before that, I want to complete the ticket part, ticket update part. Okay. Ticket controller, I have written um, ticket update, ticket create. I have to get all tickets and get one ticket is one. Yeah. I'm going to share the screen. Just give me a few minutes. Karan. Let me check what is the time. Yeah, time is good. There was one uncle of mine, or maybe I don't know whether he was an uncle or he was just he was somebody in my colony. And whenever he was typically older than me, a lot older than me, and whenever I ask him what is the time, he say time is very bad, and then he'll chuckle about it. Time is very bad. Sometimes I ask him what is the time, and he says it is the exactly same what it was 24 hours back. He will never give me the time. I have, and I was a kid, um, and it used to make me very angry because every time I ask him about time, he gives me all sorts of random answers. Time is same as it was one day back. It is same as what it was one day back. It is very bad right now. You see how time is so bad these days. All those kind of answers. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen, and we are going to discuss controller. I don't want to share this one. I think yeah, this is the one. Let me close this. But sir, you still remember him, so that's a good. That actually makes sense, Archit. I don't know why that guy, why I got reminded of him now. Anyways, so get all tickets. Who can get all the tickets? Who can get all the tickets? Admin can get all the tickets. Who else can get all the tickets? User can get all the tickets. Who else can get all the tickets? Engineers can get all the tickets. So this single API should serve. You're not going to write three different API points for engineer, customer, and engineer, customer, and admin. You have to write it in one go. In You have to write it in one go. Otherwise, it will not work. Please make a new folder before making. Oh, that's so sweet of you, Nilanjan. Thanks a lot. Uh, I just almost forgot about that. Nilanjan, Nilanjan is the awesome person who reminds me about this. Uh, just give me one minute. I'm creating. I'm not sharing the. Uh, I'm not spending time on sharing the window right now. I'm sharing the code window for a few minutes. I'm going to make the changes and then start sharing. Okay. So CRM app, folder number 9. Let me copy this and let me paste it. This I typically like to share the whole screen. I don't like to share. Somehow I prefer to share the whole screen. I don't have anything to hide. And are you able to see the folder that is getting copied? Okay. So now folder will get copied, and he'll call it 10. Let's write 10, building the CRM app, uh, ticket manipulation continued. I'll just write ticket manipulation continued. If there is a uh, if I go ahead and write the notification service also today, I'm going to create another folder for it. So I'm not going to corrupt this folder. Today's date is 28th of December, I guess, 2022. And I click enter. Okay, so far so good. Now I go to CRM app, and I don't want to okay, there's one more step I have to remember, which is to commit all the changes before moving forward. So I come here and I open, just give me 1 second. I open GitHub, and inside GitHub I can just write started building get all. Back to the main. Push what is it? By the way, here's a question that I just want to know. I don't know what is the answer to it, so frankly I don't get feedback on that. But how many of you are actually going ahead and seeing this repo all the time, like trying to build from the repo and uh, spending time looking at the code? Yeah, that's impressive. Many of you are actually looking at the code, which is great. That's the best way to learn. So thanks a lot. I practice with Postman. That is so nice of you, Hariharan. Uh, I hope you all are. I can surely tell you that I'm learning as much as you are learning. So if they even tried the remaining two controllers, that's so nice of you. Uh, I'm learning as much as you guys are learning and girls are learning. So yeah, I'm making the app with fine tuning. Oh, nice, London. That's very good. Yeah, I wish there were some review sessions where I could have discussed uh, your fine tunings and your updates on the app. And this is a very good time. Okay, Karan, that's good. What do you do, Karan? Where do you, I mean? I think you have told me once, but I forget. So can you just tell me where do you work and what is your profile? I just keep on forgetting. I think I have heard once you have said something, but I forget. Junior engineer at UPPCL. Okay. And what is the technology you work on? SAP. Oh, you're a SAP developer. Is that correct? ERP SAP. ERP is for um, ERP is for the database. Is it for the database? I'm just making a guess. Employee resource planning, I think. Oh, okay. Okay, I'm enterprise resource planning. Um, I'm not sure about ERP side, but anyways, so try to see. Have you ever seen any semblance with this code into what you are doing in your job? So do you also code up these kind of systems? That will be interesting. So one thing some of you can try out is go back to your job, whatever wherever you are. If you are working as a developer, oh, okay, you're not into coding. Then it might not work. So, but those of you who are into coding, is there somebody who is coding right now, like who is in a coding job right now? Okay, I'm bit into front end. Deepak, yes, me, sir. I'm DB side. Okay, wherever you're coding, yeah, yes, wherever you're coding, Babu, please try to come on time. I think you had an office, so I'm sorry. I mean, okay, yeah, try to come on time, but if the office is late, so that's completely fine. I've not discussed anything that you might have missed. So, oh, you are mechanical engineer. Ekta is plain JavaScript. So whatever company you are doing, whatever company you are, even if your code base is not, sometimes you have access to other code bases in the company. So one exercise you can do is you can read up related code bases in your company, and that is going to do two things. One, you will of course enjoy putting the code base. Uh, yes, yeah, that is great, Karan. So one way is to just putting a new code base into the framework that you have learned, trying to fit the code base into the framework that you have learned, and trying to see how it is working. And second thing that it will do is uh, it will make you a better employee because now you know a larger amount of code base. Okay, whatever code base you are running or whatever code base you are responsible for in your job, try to see a pattern or a framework that is being used there, and try to see how each and every piece fits into the framework. Typically, the senior engineers will help you a lot. Yeah, the senior engineers in your company can help you a lot. You can ask them for some design documents and see the key design structure of your code base, and then you can figure it out faster. Okay, so make sure you spend some time. And those of you who are not actually working as a developer, try to see some good open source libraries which are following the same structure. Uh, you can see open source projects following MVC. Let me see. Node open source node projects, Node.js projects. Let's see. Uh, Pros and cons, reasons for node, documentation. What is this? Yeah, they have some. Sheets.js is following us. You can check out sheets.js. You can check out CryptoEscape. Those of you who are into cryptocurrency, you can check out this one. And there's PDF Kit. There will be a bunch of them. Uh, okay. So if you just Google about it, you should be able to see. Uh, ESLint is also something which is built by MIT, and all these uh, Axiom, Axiom, Axiom is most popular GitHub that uses Node. Promise where HTTP client it can help you do all sorts of things. So yeah. Anyways, you can check out these codes. Uh, you can check out these code bases. Whatever whenever I go to new companies, like I'm starting it over again. Yes, some company take interview for backend, but they will give us front end work as well. Yeah, that is true. That is a sad part. I'm going to paste the link. I'm not sure about this link, so don't. But I think this is a good idea. Again, you know how how irresponsible I am sometimes. But here is a promise that I want to make. Maybe I'll be able to keep it up in few weeks. I'll give you some good open source projects that you can read up on. Okay, maybe you can find that is best. If you can find some projects and send me out, that's great. But I'll try to compile a list of projects that you can read up on your own and try to fit this MVC pattern on top of them. Does that sound like a good idea? I think that can be. Yeah. How to make contribution? That is the best. You just look at the pull request and try to contact anytime you want to. Yeah. System design I will not recommend right now. Archit. A system design is something I'll not recommend right now for the basic reason that you should typically look at it uh, after few years of job, like 1 or 2 years. You should just work on the low levels, and maybe after that it's a good idea. Uh, yeah. But there are some courses on educative you can take, and they are very nice. Okay. Yeah. And typically system design is something that you are going to learn by doing. I mean, you have to do it in a job, and because you have to work on a small scale system, and then you can go. Otherwise you will have a bunch of concepts that will not fit together. Okay. Let me look at this question, which who has raised this question. This is raised by Suraj. Let me see. uh, I want to zoom. Where is the zoom button? Yeah, I increase the zoom size. Error in ticket create. How do I move this like this? Some error happen creating ticket read property null. Ticket created. Reading ticket created. Uh should not be. Oh, okay, okay, okay. That so Suraj, you have not uh, created the. ticket created field in the user model. Suraj, you have to update your user model. Have you updated the user model, Suraj? Do you know what I mean? What I'm saying? Okay, so I'll explain. This is how you can quickly catch error. I have not seen Suraj code, but it's just like a fortune teller. I can directly say that he has done this error. So you go to this user model, okay? Sorry, ticket model, and here there is something called as where is that? No, not ticket. User model. In user model, you go and create these two fields: ticket created, yeah, ticket created and tickets assigned. In this ticket created, you will have a list of tickets that you have created. And in tickets assigned, you will have a list of tickets that are assigned to you. Does that make sense, Suraj? That's what you need to do. You have to write these 4 lines. Okay, so Suraj, what I have updated the user model to contain these two things as well. Okay, two list of object IDs. Okay, these objects ID are the object ID of tickets which are going. So for engineer, for a customer, this will contain all the tickets. This will contain the ID of all the tickets that are created by that customer. Reference ticket means it will refer to the ticket model. That is correct, Babu. Yes, but how to create an object? No, no. You don't have to create an object. Yeah, I have pushed these changes to GitHub. Ankit. You can check it out in the user model. You can check it out in the 9 chapter 9 folder 9. Yeah. Reference is for association. Reference is just for association. It's you don't have to worry about it. I mean, it's not like a foreign key. So it typically does not checks the foreign key. Okay. No, you don't need to write. Yeah. Yeah, but it is a good idea to write it so that people remember. You have some way of remembering what is going on. I don't think it is coding it up in the backend, but I'm not sure about that also. Anyways, so you have to write these 2 lines and then it will work. Try it out, Suraj. Going back to ticket controller. So here is the prompt. So now let me see Babu Reddy. I'm not talked to Babu. Do you have to? Do you want to? No. Likit has a question. Uh, we have created an array of those, but how to create an object? Likit, you don't have to create an object. You just have to write the ID of that object. Look here. When I'm creating, uh, when I'm creating a ticket, I'm pushing the ticket ID into the created list, and that's all I'm doing. Okay, Likit. If we want to save a key value, then we need an object. We don't need an object. We just the object is already there. The ticket object is already there. We are creating the ticket object here. When we create the ticket, we create the ticket object. We are using this ticket object to put it into the ticket model. Once we put it in the model, we get the ticket ID and we pass it to the ticket created. Does that make sense? Can you confirm? Yeah. Yeah, yeah, that is correct, Nilanjan. All the okay, since you are asking so many questions, I would actually go and check the reference. Just give me 1 second. Ref in Mongoose. Ref in Mongoose schema. Hmm, what does that do? Uh, replaceable. No, where is the schema? Ref event. Okay, so that. Hmm. You you can do so by using population. No, not that one. I just want to know what ref is doing. So I'll just go to query projection. Uh, will it? Okay, okay. So there are some extra functionalities like populate that you can use with RAV. So basically, where the ticket ID is storing is, are you pushing it? Yes, I'm pushing it in the create ticket. So in create ticket, I first create a ticket object. I find the engineer whom I want to assign the ticket. Then what I'm going to do is for that engineer, I'm going to push the ticket ID into ticket assigned, and the user who has created the ticket, I'm going to push it as ticket created. These four lines, line number 29 to 33, are doing what I'm saying. Does that make sense, Ankit? This ticket underscore ID, Ankit, can you share GitHub repo? Yes, I can share. Uh, but I would love if some of you can just remember. Uh, you lost the GitHub repo or something? I'm going to share it right now. Here's the GitHub repo. Let me pin it. Okay. Now let's go back. Can you share the GitHub repo? Dot save is saving ticket to DB. It is not saving the ticket to DB. It is saving the user data to DB. And ticket is, this is saving the user model. It is updating the user model and saving it, Nilanjan. Okay. This method can be used to make cards for every user in e-commerce app. That is true. Yes, that can be done. Can we use JWT's same token in different multiple apps to authorize users? Uh, just give me 1 second to think about that. Yes, you can use that, Mahendra, but you will have to make sure that this secret key that is shared across the apps. There is something called as config, and this secret key that you are using in the JWT token, you are using the same secret key across all those apps. Okay, Mahendra. So you cannot use different secret keys, otherwise it will not work. Yeah. Um, when I answer question like this with confidence and certainty, I feel so happy. Yeah. Anyways, uh, so we are creating apps. Save and exit. No, save is used when you save on the model. I mean, they do the same thing, but they're different in the sense that you apply save on the object, whereas uh, save you apply on the object by updating it, and exec you apply when you do find one and update. Okay, in exec you have to send the update query as well, or update object as well. So yeah, save does it using the code in your using the JavaScript code. You can do it in save, and what exec do is exec uses almost like a mongoose code. Like it uses the function call itself. I think I have somewhere update exec function. Okay, we can exec only for update, find one update. Yeah, you can. Yeah, that is true. You can also do it for find, but that's not super cool. Exec is basically executing the promise. So even when you write await, it will do the same thing. Do you know any site to apply for backend role apart from LinkedIn? Ankit, backend role. Hmm, what sites do I know? There is something called Hired. Have you heard about Hired.com? You can apply from there also. They Hired.com. Naukri is typically for not for developers. Like yeah, you can apply from Naukri, but it's not the most promising jobs. You will not get there. There is a website called as Hired.com. You can check it out. It is good. Yeah. Instead of pushing just like ID, can we push the entire ticket in both places? Would be easier to make sense of it in the database. That is a very good idea, Ekta. I like your idea. And that is, can you tell me what is that pattern called as in database? Suraj, same. Did you save the? You have to insert the object again. You have to insert the object again with the ticket created thing. You cannot use the previous database now. Did not get your question. Uh, did not get your question, sir. I was asking some question. Do you remember the database pattern that I was talking to you about? Yeah, there were two types of database patterns that I was talking about. Object inside an object. Yeah, embedded, and the other one was that is embedded. This what Ekta is saying is actually an embedded pattern, and the other is reference. Yes, and we had a long discussion about both of them. I want to chat with Babu Reddy for a few minutes. I hope the class will not mind. Babu Reddy, can you unmute yourself? I want to check up with. I mean, I just want to catch up with you for maybe 2 minutes and understand how you are progressing through the class. I hope the class will not mind because I think I have not seen you for a few classes and I just want to know. I'm just a little curious to know what is going on. Hello, Babu.
Hi, sir.
So how is it going? Are you
Yeah,
able
I
to
am.
follow the class?
Yeah, actually, I am unable to attend for live classes, but I am following recordings every day, sir.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's what I was also guessing. Are you getting any questions during these classes? Are you able to
I am
generally question?
understanding everything that you are teaching me.
Okay.
Till now,
Okay.
no queries.
Okay. When so do you have my mobile number? I think I've shared it with the whole class. Do you
Yeah, I
also
have.
have?
I have, sir.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. So this is especially for you. Make sure. I mean, it is all. I'm available for all my students. But Babu, since you are attending on recorded lectures, I want to make sure that whenever you have doubt, you just ping me and ask about that. Okay. Don't
yeah,
ever
okay, sure.
hesitate on that. Okay.
Yeah,
And
okay.
also that will be a good idea to connect with all your classmates once in a while to just chat with them how things I mean how if you have any doubts from them also that's also helps. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, sir.
Sure, Babu, keep it up.
Yeah,
Bye.
okay, bye. Thank you, sir.
Mhm. Our secret key is same for every admin, yes, but their passwords are different. Our secret key is same, but their individual passwords are same. Typically, you will have a secret key that only the developers know. Yeah, and sometimes you know what happens. These okay, so I'll discuss few things. These secret keys are very important in your companies. When you go and join a company, what if someone shares their key? If someone shares their key, that's a ground for dismissal. Like that's a, I mean, it's as bad as the offense as coming to the office drunk. Okay, so I mean, I'm not kidding right now. There are few things if you do in your office, you can get fired very easily. First thing is forgetting the password of your laptop and forgetting the password of a system on which you log in all the time. Okay, if you forget the password couple of times, that can be a ground for dismissal because the amount of work the security team has to do for uh, for for updating the whole system and building it back sometimes is very hard. So that is one. Another thing that you can be easily fired for is sharing your company secrets. Any company secret, it doesn't matter whether it can be used for a hack or not. But if you are found of sharing any company email or anything like that, and companies do monitor these things, that's a serious ground for dismissal. Okay, so uh, never ever be extra cautious with these kind of things. You can, if you mess up some deadlines, if you mess up of some project work, that's okay. I mean, that's still doable. But if you have bad intent, then yeah, I mean, companies typically don't do case, but yeah, companies typically don't do case, but maximum they do is basically dismiss you. uh, and then they might make your character certificate, something like references. You cannot give references from that company, and it just builds a bad breath about it. The world is very small and people come to know about it, so never do anything which is like that. Do we get opportunity to work in foreign? Yes, you can get, Ankit, and this is where so I've been just give me 1 second. Let me see if I'm on time. Again, I'm going to discuss this thing for a few minutes because I think this is relevant to the class. So this is a small story, but it is from my life, so I will just tell you. There's a company called as Con Connect. Con Connect. Okay. Uh, so I'll just go to. There's something called as Con Connect in Con Connect. Okay, this is a company which creates algorithmic trading engine. Okay, so now this is a story that I want to tell you because it's relevant to those of you who are searching for jobs. This is a company which had a lean engine online. What I did was I went to their GitHub and I started posting requests. I went into this pull request things and issues. I went to issues and I started talking to whatever people were there in the company. I started talking, can somebody help me contribute to this app? I want to contribute as I want to contribute as a what is it called? Um, um, as a uh, what are the people who provide as a volunteer? I want to volunteer to contribute this. Yeah, yeah. As a not as a developer, just as a volunteer, as a code volunteer, I want to contribute to this, and I want to help. And can somebody guide me through the process? And suddenly, I got a message from the CEO of the company. He was so happy to see somebody come and contribute to the database. I immediately got a I immediately got a internship in the company, and yeah, I was doing some other things back then, so I didn't continue with the internship. But that could have been a very good career by just asking around how to contribute to a code base. So you can just go ahead and check out different whatever suits you. There will be an open source library. You can just commit and tell. You can go to Mongoose. MongoDB is also open source, I guess. Just let me check. Mongo MongoDB open source. MongoDB GitHub. Is it available on GitHub? Yeah, it's an open source library. Okay, so what you can do is start contributing to MongoDB, and suddenly, if you contribute few times and if you are very chatty on the app, people will come and give you opportunities. And what can be done in this ConConnect? ConConnect is a website which provides a platform for people to run their algorithmic trading strategies. Nilanjan, so it is similar to some of the algorithmic trading platforms that are there in India. It is a online platform and people come and run their strategy. This is basically the engine that supports all those strategies. You have to understand the entire code base first. That is not correct, Abhijit. You just have to understand. Can we show example of how you identified and fixed bugs? I didn't do anything like that, Avijit. I didn't fix any bug on the code, even for the whole internship itself. I just showed interest that I want to contribute and somebody should mentor me into this. And just that gave me the internship. Can anyone give support to the code develops? Yes, exactly. That's what open source is all about, Nilanjan. It is supported by, it is a code base that is being supported by developers. Okay. So there's I don't know. I'm sorry I'm discussing all these things, but I think they are very important. It is more important than the code itself. So I hope you don't mind me discussing these things. But here's one thing. Uh, Yes, yes, Abhijit, you can do that. What I'm saying is, and don't expect money right away. Expect to learn. Okay, go with a learner's mindset and try to contribute to these code bases. Any open source code base, they typically have a program for rewarding the volunteers. And there is a saying that I want to discuss at this point, which is called as which is a principle that you can use generally on in the market. uh, if you become good at something, people will automatically come to pay you, come to pay you to do that. So what does that mean? Let's take an example of a skateboarding. Suppose you want to skateboard, okay, or you want to run. Or let's take an example of running. And suddenly, what happens is you can have two ways of running. You can either say, "I don't have shoes, I don't have sponsors. What will I do running, and what will I do forward?" Or the second way would be just start running. Whatever resources you are, you just start running. And if you become good at running, suddenly you compete in a running marathon, and people will come and recognize you from there. Or suppose you don't even have shoes, so you participate in a marathon and decide to run barefoot, and suddenly there will be a lot of shoe companies which will come and sponsor you for the next marathon. Okay, but so there are two people, one who don't have shoes, but he started running because he thought it's a good idea to run, and people will come suddenly to him to give him shoes, give him responsibility because they see he is working. Whereas the other guy can keep on waiting forever to for somebody to come and provide him a sponsorship, but that might not work. Similarly, what I'm saying here is, if you just become good at these kind of things, people will automatically come and give you job once they see your work. The key thing that many of you might be facing right now is how to show your work. So here is another place uh, where you can attack this problem. Uh, my whole teaching in this class is not to teach you CRM app building, which is just a small part. I want to teach you how to break into this industry and start working, because I think that is much more important. That is something resonates with many of you. Am I right? Yeah. So I discussed one way where you could have done this by freelancing. This is another way. You can go to open source softwares and start contributing. You are going to learn a lot, and once people see that you can contribute to open source, they will hire you like anything. Companies will get crazy if you just start working like this. Okay. So we can get back. Yes, Nilanjan. I'm sorry, Nilanjan, but I thought. Yeah, that's completely fine. Many people start contributing by just writing some documentation. So you can just start asking what documentation can I write, and that is going to help you. Okay, Nilanjan. Let's get back to the class. I'm sorry for rambling on this, but I thought it is important. Okay, get all tickets. Get all tickets. This function can be called by three people. It can either be called by an admin. It can be called by a. I have contributed to open source multiple times. Yeah, it takes a big commitment, but if you can get an internship, it can be a very good opportunity. Yeah, that's nice. Archit, where are you working right now, Archit Singhal? Okay, nice. Yes, that is true. Is this first today starting coding? No, it's not first. I didn't get your question, Babu. Okay, this is the first question. Yeah. Oh, okay, good, Archit. Okay, let's talk about the get all ticket. Um, let me write some. Let me write some things here. Uh, First, There are these are the use cases. Let me write the use cases. First use case is admin, and admin should get the list of all the tickets. I'll just call it list of all tickets. What is cookies and sessions? Cookies are just like this. Cookies are just like this JWT token. Uh, just like JWT token is coming to you, there can also be other things that you can get from each request, and that can help you make some. I mean, it is basically used for tracking, but you can use cookies to track people. Okay. Even if I'm working on a website, even if I'm working on a website for thehindu.com, a cookie can be sent to say google.com to inform that I'm looking at some content, and then what will happen, Ankit, is Google will be notified that I'm looking such and such content, and Google can use that on unsuspecting users. Okay. To market better. Okay, customer should get the list of all the tickets, should get the tickets. Customer should get all the tickets created by him or her. The third is uh, engineer. Engineer should get all the tickets signed to him or her. Okay. How do you do that? You can just define const. You can define the query object. Let's keep it empty. And then there will be if first dot query. You are going to send a query. Where else have you used query? You remember? You remember status? It's not undefined. If query status is not undefined, you can just call it query object dot status equal to request dot query dot status. Yes, yes, Likit. Likit is correct. So when we were fetching users, we were using query in request. I have discussed the difference between query and parent, so I'm not going to discuss it again for the sake of time. And now let's have the query status. We got the status. Can somebody tell me why would you have a status here? Why do you have a status here? What is this status meaning? No, it's not it's not the status of the user. It's not it's not the status of the user. It is something else. It is not the user status. It is the ticket status. It is the ticket based on what it is. So you should be able to see the pending. You should be able to see the open. You should be able to see the close. You can define which kind of tickets you want, and you can use that here. Okay. You can say saved user. Who is calling me? Who is calling this function? And how do we get the user from this? Can you tell me? Find one. How do you get the user ID? Here you can do user ID. And why check the undefined? Why it will be undefined? It will be undefined because what if somebody sends it undefined? Then you want all the tickets. So if somebody wants all the tickets, irrespective of the status, then then this status will be undefined and you don't worry about that anymore. Okay, you don't want to filter on this. Does that make sense, like it? Yeah. So now many of you are very well versed in this. You can just go to request.body.user ID, and that is going to give you the user ID. Simple. So we have user ID. We have the saved user. Now let's look at the save user. Saved user dot user type is equal to constants dot user types dot admin. If it is admin, you don't worry about it. You let him get all the user. Sorry, it should be user type. Yeah, that is true. It should be user type. If it is admin, do nothing. On the left side. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that is. This is also correct. I made two mistakes. This should be user type. No, this should be user types, and that should be user type. Yeah, sure. Um, you have the user type, and here you do nothing. Don't no need to do anything. I'm going to tell you why you don't have to do anything. But I'm just writing it. Why am I writing if I'm not doing anything? Just to make sure it is complete. Okay. Somebody who is reading the code should understand that for admin, you don't have to create a filter. If saved user dot user type is actually equal to constants dot user types dot customer. If it is a customer, then you need to get query object dot assigning. Now if it is a customer, you have to write reporter. The reporter that you are calling should be equal to request dot body dot. I don't like to write it like this. I can also like saved user dot user ID. Okay. What does this? What does line number 102 and 103 means? Hariharan, can you tell me? What does this mean? If the user who is calling this request is a customer, what does this line number 103 means? It will make sense in few minutes. First one is admin. Second one is this. I'm updating my query object. I'll show you how this works. You can do saved user dot user ID. Okay. Now, once you have the query, what does the query contains? Query contains the status and the user ID. Okay. And all you need to do is const tickets is equal to await ticket dot find query object. Depending on what query you are sending, whether you are doing it on user ID, whether you are doing it on reporter, or whether you are doing it on assignee, it will filter the queries. Okay, and then you can just do result.status 200. I'm not writing try and catch. Query object is empty. No, query object is not empty. Query object is empty in the starting, and then you start filling it up. If the query object is empty, what will come? You will get all the tickets. What happens if you send an empty object in the find function? Hariharan? If the find function sends an empty object, you get all the tickets. Suraj, which part did you not understand about this? I'm creating a query object which I'm going to send. Okay, do you want to unmute yourself, Suraj? Did you join late or something? Send object converter dot ticket response. I have to create another ticket. Oh, network issue. Okay. list. I have to write something called as ticket list response. I'll write it in just a few seconds. Yes. Mm. Suraj, do you want to unmute yourself? That will be easier. Or do you want me to just repeat one? Okay, you're not able to unmute. Yeah. Hello, Suraj.
हेलो.
Yes, Suraj. What
हाँ
are you
सर, ये
not?
मुझे सर ये प्रोसेस मुझे सर समझ में नहीं आया सर, टिकट्स का.
Okay. Okay.
गेट इन ऑल.
Getting all tickets. What do you understand? What is the function asking? What is the use case of this function?
यस सर, जो अगर हमें अगर हम रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे कि सारे टिकट चाहिए तो हमें इस एपीआई से हमें सारे टिकट मिल जाएगा.
Okay. And depending on who is requesting it, I have to send different responses.
यूजर्स.
If a customer is requesting, I only send the tickets for which are created by that customer.
यस सर.
If engineer is requesting, I'm only going to send the tickets which are assigned to that engineer. Does that make sense?
यस सर.
And if our admin is requesting, I send all the tickets.
ओके
Okay,
सर. ओके
that
सर.
is one thing. Depending on the user type of who is asking, I send a different response. And how do I get the user type? How do I get this user ID in my
स्टेटस.
no, its status is something different. I'll come to status in few minutes. Don't worry about this for a
ओके.
few minutes. Look at this one, saved user ID dot request dot body dot user ID. So you're finding a user whose ID is equal to request dot body dot user ID. How do you get this user ID in the body of request? Do you remember?
पेरेंट्स.
No, it's not from params. It's not coming from params.
सर रिपीट क्वेश्चन सर अगेन.
Okay. I'm getting the user ID of the user in the request body.
ओके.
But the user is not sending the user ID ever. You might have
ओके.
seen we don't send user ID directly. We send something else and we infer the user ID from that. What is that thing?
आई डोंट नो सर.
Okay. Try to make a guess. Uh, how do you identify who is calling the API?
सर पोस्टमैन व्हेन.
Hello? Yes, yes, Suraj. You're audible now. Hello? You're not audible. Yes, Babu, that is one thing I'm going to do just now. Suraj, are you getting an error? Hello? I was not able to hear you.
हेलो.
Yes, Suraj.
हाँ सर.
So how do you get the user ID?
यूजर आईडी. सर जब आप साइन अप करेंगे तब हमें सर यूजर आईडी मिलेगा सर.
That we create. But how
हाँ
do
सर.
you so how do you log into the system? How do you know somebody has logged into the system? Hmm? How do you know that you have logged in? Somebody who has logged into the system is calling the API?
सर राउटर थ्रू.
No, not from router. Router, anyone can call the router. Look, router is this. What part of this router is using to find the user?
टोकन एंड आईडी मिलेगा हमें. नो आइडिया सर.
Okay. So do you know about JWT tokens that we have been talking about?
यस सर. यस सर.
What do they do?
सर टोकन इज आइडेंटिफाई कि यूजर वैलिड और नॉट.
It not only identifies the user is valid or not, it also returns you the user ID.
Oh, yes.
So if I go to the middleware, auth JWT, here I look at the access token and I infer the user ID from it. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So I know exactly who is calling. It's not just if it is one of the authorized users. I know exactly which user is calling my API. Okay.
Okay,
So
sir. Okay.
now I have the user ID. Depending on the user ID, I can choose whether it is admin, customer, or engineer. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
By getting the object from the database, I can get the object, get the document for that user from the database, and then I can look at whether it's an admin, customer, or engineer, and I can decide. If it's a admin, I do nothing. If it's a customer, I say I only want to get the tickets for which the reporter is the customer. The current person is the reporter. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Whosoever is calling this API should be the reporter. Similarly, if it's an engineer, whosoever is calling if the person who's calling this API is an engineer, I only want to fetch the tickets for which the current the current user is the engineer assignee engineer. Okay, does that make sense, Suraj? Are you clear with this question? Clear with this uh, whole code?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, user user type and user types the dispenser.
Okay, so when I'm saving constants, I have bunch of user types. Okay, so this user types
Okay,
contains
sir.
three different types. Customer, this is the enum of three types: customer, engineer, and admin. So therefore, I have user types here. Okay, here I'm saying what is the user type of
Okay,
current
sir.
user.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I just use type. Okay, so it's the difference between
Okay, sir.
having three
Understand,
different
sir.
types and one. Okay. Any other questions, Suraj?
No, sir. No, sir.
And now I will ask you a question, and so this is one rule I will follow in this class. Whosoever asks me question, I'll ask two more questions to him.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Tell me what is the part of this function which we still have to implement. There is one function that I'm calling and I have not implemented in my code. Which function is that?
Okay, sir. Okay. First, you create the admin, customer, and engineer pending, sir.
Engineer? No, that I don't need to. So else is always engineer. It's either admin, customer, or engineer. So that's not the one. Yes, Ankit, that is true. We get the user ID using the token. Why is there three ticks below this function? Hariharan. Yes, Hariharan, it means that if I'm sending a status, I'm going to use it. If the status is undefined, that means nobody has sent a status. So if the status is not sent, I'm going to give you all the tickets. Does that make sense, Hariharan? Either I can give you all the tickets. There's no spelling mistake. There's no spelling mistake. I have not yet implemented this get list response. Ticket list response is not yet implemented. So now I'm going to implement it. Okay, Ankit. So I have to go to utils. Inside utils, I'll have something called as object converter. And in this object converter, I'll have a ticket list response. Exports dot ticket ticket list. This is the function that I have not created so far, so I'm going to create it now. I hope I was helpful to Suraj. Why didn't we do anything in admin? One didn't get the point there because admin should get all the results. It is like suppose you want to get all the results of a particular search on a website. You don't create a filter for that. You let it be empty. Suppose I'm searching for shoes and I want to search for red shoes. then I'm going to create a filter which says search for red shoes. Color should be red. But if I don't give a filter, that means I'm going to get all the shoes. Does that make sense, Aradhya? Uh, I have used router to create API, or I have used router to create the API or the endpoint. Yes, Ankit. So not gonna write anything there. Yeah, exactly. Uh, that's okay, Ankit. That's great if you have used. Uh, when we write a function with export required function, then we don't need to separate. Yeah. Uh, this is not a module as such. This is just a. I'm not sure. Uh, I'm not sure why we are not writing module here, but yeah. We typically write it like this: ticket exports one. Yes. Uh, let me check. Module dot exports and ticket response. Okay, ticket response, user response is there. If I do exports dot ticket response and user response. Okay, this is the same thing. You can write module or you don't want to write. Both of them are same. Uh, we can do exports function name. Yes, exactly. We'll have a ticket result, uh, and this is going to be an array. You can do both. Yeah, this will be an array, and what I'm going to do is tickets for each ticket. Uh, title. This is looking good. So, oh yeah, let. I don't know why I'm forgetting let. For each ticket, all I'm going to do is uh, ticket, and I'm going to do exports dot sorry ticket result. I'm going to use the previous function directly. So I'll do ticket results dot push exports dot ticket response ticket. Get all the list of tickets. Simple function. I'll put it like this. Why is this crying? Is this crying? Is it return? Should it be return? But this should be in a single line. Okay, return. Good. Yes, just give me 1 second. And thank you for reminding me today. I think today I spent some time discussing career things. So yeah, let me remove this. And let me put this and I'll put a bracket here. Oh, I hate this. Put it back. Yeah. Anyways, can't copy entire return from. That is not something that's something I don't recommend. Uh, that is something I don't recommend, Karan. And this should not be a return. Sorry, just give me 1 second. It should not. Yeah, it should be a return. Anyways, I just have to come and return ticket result. So, Karan, I don't like that concept because you will be copying the code again. So that's not a good place. Now I'm going to push the changes here. Why are we writing exports? Uh, because that's what I got. I don't have a good reason for writing export versus module export. So I just saw that, so I wrote it. There's no good reason, Haryana. Okay. Yeah, I'll be honest about that. Um, Exports is going to what I'm going to write here is, I think that's why we are not writing module exports here. Yes, exactly. That's the basic idea. Whatever export. So uh, just let me check that. I'm going to give a break once we come back from the break. Uh, yeah, I'm going to come back from the break, Aryan, and then I'll clear out that doubt. Is that okay? Added code for find all tickets. I'm going to commit this. Once I come back from break, I'll explain to you why I'm not using something like I'm not using something like module.export at that place. Okay. I'm going to remove this. Stop sharing. See you at 38. Now 9:38. I'll see you. Add a slide. Break till 9:38. No, sir. That's why my doubt anyway. Yeah, sure. Okay. I'll see you at the end of the break. Bye. Hello students, I'm back. So Hariyanan has a question. If it is the same file, why am I writing it as exports dot? Because this is saved in the exports file, exports object. Uh, Here I have saved tickets.response in the export. Are you back from the break? There are two doubts that I have to tell. Yeah. So first doubt is, why am I writing exports.ticket response here? I'm writing it here because this ticket response is not a variable in the scope of this file. It is part of this object. Therefore, I have to write it like this. If I write directly ticket response, uh, I'll have to import it here. Okay. Without importing, I cannot do that. So I'll just do Control Z. So I can directly do exports dot this. That is first thing. Second thing, the question that is coming again and again is, what is the difference between module dot exports is equal to something? I'm just telling why I'm writing exports dot ticket response here. Line number 31. I'm saying I am writing it here because ticket response is a part of the exports object. Think of exports as an object that is provided to you, and I'm writing ticket response because ticket response is not defined in the global scope. Similarly, what is the difference between module.exports and exports? There's no difference. I'll show you how I am saying that. If I do module.export hello, hello as world, then you'll get this here also. Exports dot, I can do hello. See hello, hello is present here. So whatever I save in the module.exports also gets saved in exports. Whatever I save in exports also gets saved in module.export. Okay. Is there anyone who has a doubt about this? Now? Okay. So, okay. Sure. Thank you for the question. Let's move forward. Ticket controller, we have defined ticket list here. The last, also I have to do the router thing for the ticket. So I'll come here and create the router for the ticket. Hmm. App.get and CRM slash API, sorry, yeah, API slash tickets. That's it. This will be the URL. When I post to this, when I post something to this URL, it gets added to uh, the ticket gets added. But when I do a get from this, I get the tickets back. That's how you define uh, that's how you define the REST API. There's a difference between expose as your name is written, then no need. Yeah, exactly, Nilanjan. That is correct. No need to do module.export. You can switch between either one of them. That's completely fine. Ticket controller dot get all tickets. Yeah. So that's how we can define the API. I could have done this here also. If I do exports is equal to function, this will also work. Okay. I'll just do module.export. I could have done exports here. That's completely fine. Uh, so I've created the update here. Now what I'll do is I'll try to get the ticket. So I'll just come here and run app.js first. No, I'll have to do cd 10, and then I can do node app.js. Yes, I have 3 tickets created by the admin. And now I'll log in as the admin, and then I'll try to fetch these tickets. Can you show the route again? Yeah, I'll show. Route is this. But for the time when Aradhya is looking at the route, let me open Postman. Are you able to see the route? Okay. Now I'm going to show you the Postman. Hmm. Okay. Uh, First, I need to sign in. I need to sign in as the admin. I'll sign in as the admin first. This is the admin login. I'll just come here and do sign, and I'm signed in as the admin. Now I'm going to come here and get the access token. Copy this. I create a get request on localhost colon 3000 slash API, sorry, CRM slash API slash tickets. Okay. And in the header, you can come and write access token, access token, and write the token here. And in the body, I'm not going to do anything in the body for the time being. And I'll send. This should give me all the tickets that I have in the list. What is the error? API tickets. Have I missed something? Let me check. API tickets. Let me check in the chat. This API is. Just give me 1 second. Ticket controller. I think I made a mistake. I wrote the controller inside chapter 9. So the routes thing I have written inside chapter 9. So I'll just delete it from here. And I'm going to come to tickets dot. So first let me mute this. Come to 10, and in the routes, go to tickets routes and add the details here. That was an error. And I again start my, sorry. I come here and I again stop this and run this again. Fine. Now I'm going to go back to Postman and send the request again. Okay. So now I got the list of all the tickets. This is the ticket open. This is also open. This is also open. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a particular ticket. Let me take the ID of this ticket, first ticket with priority 2, which is created twice. So I'll take this ticket And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the status of the ticket. Okay. So I'll go to ticket this, and in this I'll have body. In the body, I'll say status as closed. Okay. I've closed the ticket. Now I'll have to send the access token. I think I have copied it. I have not copied the access token. So I have to go here and I have to copy the access token again. Proceed. Good. In this, I'll paste the access token. Yeah. Now what will happen? We do not have request.body. We have request.body in update. This is the update operation. Ekta. And I send this here. Okay, in the question we don't have request.body. That's okay. That means you have an empty request body. Yeah, that means I have an empty request body. I'll write the request.body now. The user ID you are getting from the middleware. Other than that, you don't need anything in the request body. Oh, okay. Just give me 1 second. Uh, so you are saying we don't need request body? We need request.query. Okay, we don't need request.body, we need request.query. Okay, so I'll just go back to the get operation, and here I'll have a params, and in this I'll have status. This is the query. In the status, I'll say closed. Now I'm going to see only the tickets which are closed. And before that, I have to go to the put operation and see if it is being put. The ticket has been put. Now I go back to the how ticket ID same random value, right? How ticket ID has same random value? It don't have standard same random value. These are different random values. Let me show it to you. Here in Postman, we are giving access token in header, but in actual app, how this token is provided when a user accesses the API. So what happens, Nilanjan, is there is a way of sending just like you have a way of receiving the HTTP in Node.js. There is a way you receive HTTP request using an API using the routers. Similarly, there are routers in there are HTTP request libraries in React.js that help you send requests from the front end. Okay, so in that you can specify that the parameters are so and so, the body is so and so, and this is how the request object is looking like. Does that make sense, Leandro? Yeah, that is the front end part. Or even if there is a separate backend that is calling it, they also have the whole, they have a library that can create this object. Okay, so these are different IDs. IDs are different. Yes, exactly. Yes, that is correct. There are different IDs that you are getting. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to search for only the closed uh, tickets. I search and I got a empty list. Uh, Body. Let me test again. Query.status seems to be correct. We need double quotes. Double quotes are there. Okay, let me check without double quotes. Sure. That might be a problem. Send it again. Yeah. Thank you, Hariharan. Can you please show the get all ticket control? I think I'm making a mistake. Yes, sure, Ekta. Can you tell me the error that you are getting? What is the error you are getting? This is one more thing that I want you to learn. You should be able to explain your error without without somebody has to looking at your code. In English, you should be able to talk about the error. How do I put a body in Get API? How do I put a body in the Get API? There is a body here. There's a body parameter. You can click on raw and then, oh, that way. So we are, yes, yes, yes. Got it, got it, got it. So you're not getting the user ID? We can do body. What is the problem? Why don't you do body? Why can't you do body? Let me put a body. Uh, let's say status is closed. Put a body. I don't see a reason why put get should not have a body. Uh, and now I can send it. Yeah, get can do it. So you don't have to put that, Ekta. There's no need to put the body option in get option in get request, because the user ID that you are getting is coming from the verify token. Does that make sense? Try to check your verify token. Uh, you see this user ID? Let me close this. Ticket controller, ticket routes. Let me close this. This user ID that you are seeing here, this user ID, sorry, this user ID, request.body.user ID. Yeah, this request.body.user ID. I'm getting this request.body.user ID from the middleware. You see the middleware auth JWT. In this, I have said request.body.user ID is equal to decoded user ID. Does that make sense? I look at the JWT token and I decode the user ID and save it into the request.body. That's where it is coming from. It is not coming from the user. Now that is eureka moment for Ekta. She forgot about it. I even asked a question about it. Yeah, I even asked a question about it. Anyways, so that's how you can have the get all method. I hope you are all following the get all method. Let's look at the last method in this. Somebody will send you the ID of the ticket, and that will be a very simple operation. Const await ticket dot one find one underscore ID is equal to request dot parents dot ID. Get the ID, and all you need to do is return, sorry, response dot status 2000 dot send object converter dot ticket response, and ticket response you can say ticket. Okay, that's all there is to get one ticket. Now you are going to save it in the route also. You can write this code while by the time you're writing, or maybe you can write it from memory. You're just doing a find one on params. And now at this point, you should have a clear idea of what kind of router you will write. Can you give an option of what routers you will write for this function? How will the router look like? App.get CRM API tickets slash. What will come next? Can you tell me? Not underscore ID. No. It will not be underscore ID. It will be colon ID. and then yes, exactly, and then you can do auth awt.verify token, and then you can do ticket controller dot get one ticket. That's all there is to this function. I can save it, and I have to go back to Postman. First, I'll just restart the process. So I'll just Control C and run it again, and then I'm going to open Postman, and let me remove this body first. This is not needed anymore, and let me remove this closed. Oh, okay, I can use closed. So I'll copy this ID from here. This ID I'll copy, and I'll create a GET request again. This time I'll do crm dot API dot tickets slash whatever is the ID. Okay. So there's a request. When I do post, I can update this ticket. When I do get, I can get it. I can retrieve it. I come here with headers. Inside headers, I have to put the x-axis token, x-axis token. And what is the x-axis token? I come here and find it. This is the x-axis token. I'll have to Control C, and then I can come here and paste it. With the x-axis token, I can get the ticket. I send this, and I got the ticket which was closed. Okay, so far so good. Any questions? Okay, very nice. If it is clear, it's good. That means it's good. Let's do a quick recap of everything we have developed so far. And you can do a quick recap by just, so I'm going to commit these changes first. Let me see, where is my GitHub? Yeah. Added get all tickets and get one ticket. I'll commit to main and I'll push horizon. Okay. So far we have 3 controllers which deal with our data in different ways. We have a controller which is going to help us in creating users, signing them up, and signing up and signing in. And there is a user controller which can basically do 3 operations. It can find users, it can find by ID, or it can update. It can find all, it can find by ID, and all these operations can only be done by the admin. Only admin can do these 3 operations. And we have a ticket controller which has get one ticket, get all tickets, and it has update ticket, and it has a create ticket. Create ticket, update, get all tickets, and get one ticket. 4 operations, simple controller. But now here is a question that I have. That is something we need to think about. And at this point, I want to go back to the starting document that I shared about the starting document that I shared about the app, the CRM app. Have you noticed one thing? When I write a function in the controller, it takes care of multiple requirements for me. Have you noticed that fact? So there are multiple requirements. For example, there is a requirement to get tickets, and get all tickets is a single controller that deals with all kinds of requirements from the get tickets. You can get as a user, you can get as an admin, as an engineer, as a customer. I don't mind whoever is calling it. I'll get it from a single API, and that is by design. You don't want to flood up all the APIs. You want to use the REST API properly, so that only requirements, only the things that you are required are only the bare minimum amount of APIs are opening up. Okay. So now whenever you have a list of requirements, I want you to see what are the underlying functions that you need to create to address those requirements. Okay. Um, Now I want to switch gears, and I want to just give me a few minutes. Okay. Is there any difference between API and REST API? REST is a kind of API. There are other kinds of API. REST is like, is there a difference between driving on the left on the road or it's and driving on the road? The difference is you are following a convention. Anyone who is living in India understands that you have to drive on left. So it's a convention. Same is with the REST API. REST is a basic standard that people follow while creating APIs. So if there is a get operation in front of a URL, you understand that you are going to search for something. If there is a post operation, you understand that you are going to update something. If there is a put operation, you understand. Sorry, if there is a put operation, you understand that. Uh, Sorry, if there is a post operation, you understand that you are going to create a new thing, and if there is a put operation, you understand that you are going to update something. So anyone in the whole world using a put operation on a URL, you already understand that he is trying to update something in the database. Does that make sense? Yeah, so that standard is what REST is all about. This is the standard that we are going to follow. We all decided. So it makes all of our lives easier. So next time, if you are looking at a REST API, somebody gives you that, you can directly say, okay, this is a GET API, so it must be searching for something. Okay, that way. It's an architectural pattern. You can call that also. It's like an architectural pattern, but it's more like a convention rather than a pattern, because it's followed exactly. It's not I mean you can distinctly say what is happening for a given REST API. Okay. In patterns, it's typically a little more, you have a little more room to improvise. That's the difference. Anyways, uh, now what do I have to do? I have to cover one more part of this app, and let me check what how much time is left. I have 1 hour, so I can cover a lot of details. Um, just give me a few minutes. Uh, take it on. Yeah. So today we are going to talk about notification service application. This is a separate application that you need to build. Yeah, I sorry for the video. Whenever I switch my computer, it goes away. Whenever I switch tab on my computer, it goes away. Uh, Now I'm going to close this, minimize this, and this. Hmm? Notification service. Sorry for the video. Just hold on. Whenever videos goes out, just don't worry about it. I will be back in few minutes. I'm doing something on my computer, and then the video goes off. Okay. Let's spend some time talking about the notification service. It's another service uh, that runs on a separate port. Okay. So I'm going to talk about notification service today, and then probably code it up tomorrow. But I'll just explain you the overall architecture first, and then I'll clarify your doubts if you have any, and then we'll discuss it further. Okay. So we need some way for our three users. We have admin, we have engineer, and we have customer. You have these three. They are sitting somewhere and sipping a cup of coffee. They don't have access to our database. They can obviously search for the tickets, but you would not want that to happen. You would not want your users to search every 30 minutes for tickets on their system. You want some way of notifying them. Does that make sense? If something happens on WhatsApp, you don't want to, I mean, ideally, you don't want to keep on checking your WhatsApp every 30 minutes. You want WhatsApp to notify you whenever there is a message. Does that requirement make sense? Yeah, schedule the update or some whatever update is whatever. So you get the idea of notification. You don't always want the user to come to you. Sometimes you also want to send some notification to the users. That is the idea. We need a process at particular intervals or whenever there is something interesting, that whenever there is an action that they need to take care of, I need to identify the engineers and customers. Suppose there is a new ticket raised by a customer whose priority is 1, then I want my engineer to be immediately notified that a priority 1 ticket has been raised. Does that make sense? Yeah. So that's where notification service comes into picture. You need a service. It's called as notification service. You need a service which your CRM app calls. This calls this service. Yes, exactly, Likit. You want to notify whenever they are, whatever you do, whenever some change is happening, some change in the ticket is happening, you need to notify the customer as well as the engineer, the reporter and the signee both. If the engineer changes the ticket, then the customer should be informed. If the customer changes the ticket a little, the engineer should be informed. There should be a two-way communication that is happening from the ticket itself. Okay. Yes. So the CRM app will do something with the tickets and users. There are two models that you have, tickets and users. These are the two basic models you have. Now your CRM app is going to do something with tickets and something with users. I don't know what it is going to do. Just don't worry about that for the timing. Any change that it needs to notify the 3 users about, it will send that notification to the notification service. This service will listen to the CRM app, and uh, it can also give the CRM app whatever it asks for. If somebody asks for all the notification that are pending, or it can have a get API which can give you all the notifications which are pending in the queue right now. Suppose you want that somehow. So, and this notification service is going to notify the customers, engineers, and admins. And how it is going to do it, I'm going to explain now. But the concept of notification service, is that clear? Like the overall use case of notification service, is that clear? Now let's talk about the architecture of this notification service. How does this notification service gets built? So there are multiple parts of this notification service. Sir, can you please shortly repeat again? Yes. Okay, I'll repeat. What I am saying is, first I want to tell you the overall structure of the app. Okay. We have 3 actors. actors. There are three actors: engineers, customers, and admins. All of these three have access to the CRM app. This is the app that they interact with. But what can happen is they share some resources on the CRM app. Suppose there are engineers and customers which have a common ticket. A customer has created a ticket and an engineer is working on it. Now, what can happen is if there is a change in the model or if there is a change in the database, I want other parties to be informed about it. For example, if you have used GitHub sometime with people, whenever somebody makes a commit, everyone gets notified about the commit. How does that? How does GitHub do that? It has a shared resource, and whenever somebody changes the resource, everyone gets notified about it. That's exactly what is happening here. We have some tickets and some users, and whenever something changes in the database, which is relevant to the actors, what happens is CRM app is going to send some notification to the notification service, notice service, and this notification service will have access to an email client. It will send that to an email client, and the email client will have email accesses of all these actors, and it will send the email to the particular person who is supposed to get the email. Okay, so this email service you don't have to. This is typically Gmail that you use. So there is an API that you can use in Gmail. Have you ever heard about that? I once had a professor in my college who used to send all his emails from command line. He will not open a Gmail or something. He will always read his emails on command line. He'll reply to them from command line. Yeah, there is a Gmail API. Yes, yeah, there is a Gmail API that can do it for you. Yeah, you might not have heard about it, but yeah, there's a STP. There is something called STP or something which can be used for sending emails. If you have ever used yeah SMTP, yeah, SMTP. There's a SMTP server that can send emails. If you have ever used Kindle for uh, for emailing, so if you want to email something to the Kindle, suppose you have a Kindle device and you want to email, so email will yeah. Yes. That's exactly the same. Yeah. So if you have ever used Kindle, then what happens is you can send content to an email address from your email client, and that gets added to the Kindle. So that also uses something called as SMTP. Yeah. POP3 uses SMTP. SMTP is a protocol for email transfer, just like HTTP. Okay. Yeah. Um, Even Mailgun uses that. Yes, all these mass mailing websites, all of them have these APIs that they use. Hmm. I once had a professor who used to use this small laptop, and he used to only it is notification service. I should have written the whole thing, but I wanted to draw the diagram, therefore I didn't write it completely. Let me write it completely. Notification service. Okay. Can you explain this diagram? Yes, that's what I've been doing. Did you lose the connection, Karan? Employees, customers, and admins are going to act on the CRM app, and it is going to change them. And suppose employee changes something in the database, it calls a update operation on the CRM app, and the ticket gets changed. So when the engineer changes the ticket, I want ideally the customer to be informed about it. That's when I send a notification saying, please inform the customer that the ticket has been changed. There will be other use cases, but I'm just covering one use case. Notification service then have a process which then sends that request to the email client like Gmail, and then Gmail sends it to the customer email address. So I send the customer email address and I send this is the email that you have to send, and then Gmail sends it for me. Does that make sense, Karan? Yeah. So that's what this diagram tries to explain. This is the overview of the system that we are building. Now let's talk about the notifications. Let's zoom out on this. Let's zoom out on the notification service and see how we are building this part. So service provides the email ID. Yes, sir. So where can you get the email ID, Karan? Where can you get the email ID of the users? Yes, you can get the user ID from the user model. User model contains the email ID. So CRM will say this email address, send this notification. For this email address, send this notification. Okay. This request will come to the notification service. Notification service will keep all the requests in a database, and there will be a cron job that will run on the database every 30 seconds or so and send these email addresses forward. Okay, this is basically a queue of email notifications. So now I'm going to draw the system architecture of system architecture architecture of notification service. How does notification service looks like? So you have the CRM app. This is the outside client which is calling you. I'll just call it client. This client calls the server. Server, for each request that comes to the server has a route that the request will take. There are only two requests that will get and put, get and post. Just give me 1 second. Let me check what are the two requests I have. I think there are get and post only. Uh, Get and post. Yes, I can either uh, I can either post a notification or I can get all the notifications that are there in the server. Server will have a routes which is going to take the request, and then there will be something called as controller. This is still the same that we have been discussing. Now controllers, there will be a get controller, and there will be a controller for creating notification, and there will be a controller for uh, getting notification or searching for notifications. Are you following so far? Similar to how we build the CRM app? Very similar. Hello. Now in this controller will interact with a model, and this model will contain the notifications. Okay, so this is basically a flowchart for notifications. Exactly, this is the system architecture of the notification service. What I mean by system architecture is basically the flow of information. Okay, so just to digress a little bit, because I have some time, I think I can share this. What is a system? Whenever you talk about system design or system thinking or something, what is a system? Have you ever thought about it? Have you ever thought about system? What do you mean by system? Our server? No, that is not a system. I mean, it's a type, it's one example of a system. But what is the how things going to work? Okay, that is one valid definition. But that is also a process. It can also be an algorithm. Okay, how things will going to work. It is an algorithm. What is a system? I mean, this is a good question. Combination of resources, but if resources are just lying around, uh, then uh, then it's not a system. Working things in a systematic way. I mean, but then I can ask, what is systematic? Uh, the again question is, what is systematic? Aradhya's answer does not has the self loop. So what is the? My question is simple, Archit. What is a system? Yes, I like this idea. I like Ekta's definition is something I love. I think Ekta has understood the system is nothing but flow of information. How does the information flow? Resources put in a manner that makes the data meaningful. That may be a good way, but I typically call system to be a flow of information. Everything else is subsidiary. As long as your information is flowing properly, the information might change, the information might get diverted. As long as the information is flowing properly through the system, you have a valid system. Okay. Set of commands are meaning something meaningful. Again, then I can ask what is meaning, uh, Aradhya. But this is where it is correct. Okay. I can ask Aradhya that set of commands making something meaningful. But what do you mean by meaning? It is a flow of information. That's what builds the meaning. Okay. So again, whenever I discuss this concept of, so sir, what is flow of information? Yes, that's a good question. What is information? Information is facts. Combination, a set of facts is called as information. Okay. So suppose I'm giving you an example of this. Suppose I'm building a gym. Okay. Gym is a business, and it's not the building in which the gym is that is important. As the business owner, what is important for you is the information about how many customers are there, when do they come, how many customers are there, when do they come, when do they arrive, and what is the average pay they are making to the gym. And you need a way of managing all the accounts of the business. Okay. And that is what is the system of the gym. That's how the system of the gym is running. Okay. Resources are okay. Like, resources is not the system is the information that is flowing through the gym. Without the information, you cannot do anything with the system. You cannot do anything with the resources. Okay. So you have a register. I typically manage my whole business from a register. And for me, my business is basically that register, because that contains everything that I need to know about my business. So anyway, system is this. Now, when I say the system architecture of notification service, I'm showing you how the information is flowing through the notification service and how it is changing over time. Okay. This is the notifications database. It will be a separate database which will contain all the notifications that I'm creating. Are you following so far? Nilanjan, are you able to follow with the example of the gym? Yeah. So now what you have is information is saved in this database, in the notification database. And there is a concept that I want to talk about right now, which is called as cron job. I think I've touched upon it before, but uh, I have not touched it deeply enough. So I'll touch on this again. Cron job. Cron is a library on JS, cron JS. You can check it out. And what this library does is it runs a command every 30 seconds or every day. You can decide what is the cadence on which you want to run a command. And it will repeatedly run that function at that cadence. That's what a cron job does. Does that make sense? I can tell. I can tell. Yeah, like set time. Yes, it's like I can say that every day at 5 p.m. please play music. Okay, so it's gonna repeat that. It uses stars for this. Yes, exactly, Nilanjan. You're right. It uses stars. So I can tell the cron job that every 30 minutes I want a notification. I'll give you an example of this. Suppose I went to my eye doctor today and I just had a regular checkup, and he told me every 30 minutes when you're working on your computer, please close your eyes. Okay. Uh, and for 20 seconds or so you close your eyes while you're working on a computer, and that is going to increase the time you get, that is going to improve the overall life quality of yours, and the eyes will be better for a longer period of time. So now I can have a application. There are applications which are screen timers, and these screen timers will just note down that I have been working on computer for last 20 minutes, and they will shut down the screen for 30 seconds, so I cannot look at the screen. And I'll also close my eyes for 30 seconds, and then I'll again start the class. Okay, this is what a cron job can do for me. Every 30 seconds, close the uh, please close the screen. That's one example of cron job. It's not a refresh button with a timer. It is you can think of it as a refresh button, but it can be any other button that you want. It need not to be a refresh button. It can be a push button or a pull button. It can be any button. It's yeah, like the sending birthday every. Yes, that is a cron job. That is exactly a cron job. Like it. Every day when Facebook sends you the list of birthday, there's a cron job that is looking at the database, fetching all the birthdays that are coming today, and sending you a notification. Yes, Likit, that is correct. Does the concept of cron job making sense? When we write it, it will make. So our new hero is cron job when it comes to the notification service. Yes, that is correct. Ekta, you got it correct. Yeah. Okay, so we have a cron job that looks at the database and sees what all notifications are pending. Okay, it will run a find operation on the database. It will do say notification dot find, and it will find um, all the notification whose status is pending. Okay, pending. Then what it will do is it will send these notification to an email service, which is typically I'll write it as Gmail because I don't want to sound email service. Okay, this will basically call the API for Gmail. What is happening? Yeah, it'll call the API for Gmail, and basically Gmail will send the email to the respected party. Is the architecture making sense? Any questions about the architecture? Okay, if you got this, then I will go back to my CRM app. Just wondering how will we make a DB for it? We'll just have a basic document based DB, Aradhya. You can use a key value DB if you want. You can use Radix, which can be a good assignment for you. You can make a Redis Q DB and use that for sending notification. Cron jobs are many times you use cron jobs uh, along with Redis queues. Okay, so that's a very good combination that you can have. Notification DB contains all the updates of tickets and all. Yes, exactly. DB contains whatever notification you want to send to the people. Okay, now, sorry. What I have to do? Open this and I have to I'll share the whole screen. There's a comment. Can you please more describe cron job to our project? Yes, Parag. So I can explain it for some more time, but Parag, what I can do is I can write the code and then it will make more sense to you. Does that sound better? How ticket and all will get through cron. Yeah. So we will create a notification. Yes. Uh, Parag, do you want to ask questions directly on that? Maybe that will help you out. But uh, I think once you see the code working, it will make much more sense. But if you have a question, you can I'll answer your question, Ekta. Just give me a few minutes. Uh, Parag, if you have a question, you can just unmute yourself and I'll try to explain cron to you. But if you can wait for a few, like wait for one lecture, cron will make exact sense to you. Okay, both are options perfectly valid. But yeah, what do you want to do, Parag? You want to wait or do you want to ask the question on the chat on the tout? Hello, we'll wait, but we'll wait, but it's still flow. I'll explain the flow. Flow is basically the CRM app sends the notification that CRM app there is a change in the uh, and there is a change in the database. CRM app says, okay, I have to notify the users about this change. This particular user should be notified about this change. It sends it to the server. Server knows, okay, this is a put request. So this is a post request. So it routes it to the controller, which creates the notification. The notification gets created and it gets saved into the DB. And now notification is there in the DB. Now what happens is this notification is in the pending state. My cron job is going to read this notification from the notification DB and make its status to be sent and send it across to the Gmail. Now Gmail, this notification contains two things. One is the message, second is the email. This cron job is going to call the Gmail and say, hey Gmail, you have to send this email to this particular person. Can you send it for me? Since Gmail is so nice, it will send it to the person, and that's all there is to this whole flow. Does that make sense, Parag? Now, what does cron job do? Cron job looks at the DB every 30 seconds to see if there are new notifications that I need to inform to the Gmail about. Okay, that's all there is about cron job. Now I'll go to Ekta's. Thank you for waiting, Ekta. So we will create a notification service app like any other Node app, Node.js app with basic functionalities. And for connecting it to CRM, we need cron job to send notification when some kind of trigger happens, like change in ticket in. No. Ekta, not like that. That's a little different from what I'm discussing. I'm saying app is going to inform the server. Whenever there is a change, CRM app has to proactively call a API to notify my notification service. That is part of the flow of CRM app. Whatever controller you are writing, you also have to notify the notification service. It is part of the flow. Now, notification service saves it into the DB, and cron job does nothing. It just looks at the DB every 30 seconds and see if there are pending things that it needs to do. It is like this. It is like this. When there is a manager in the store or manager in the store, and he says, "I want some grocery," and he writes it down on a notepad. And then there is a employee who just keep on coming to the notepad every half an hour or so and looks at if there is something new he needs to get. He goes to the market, brings it back, and this is how the owner and the employer are communicating. They're communicating through a notebook. Okay. The understanding is the employee will come every 30 minutes and check the notebook. That's exactly what cron job is doing. It is checking the DB for any notification that are pending for the for to be sent. Okay. Uh, Thanks for explaining, sir. You're most welcome, Ekta. I just love explaining these things. Uh, yeah, it's my pleasure. Uh, Now, We have create ticket, update ticket, get all tickets, get one ticket. Uh, I need to create another folder, and I'm just going to create the folder. I'm not going to do anything fancy in the folder today. On Friday, I'm again going to copy the folder and I'm going to work on it again. Let If you give me 1 second, I'll just notify Varsha that I need to take another lecture. Otherwise, what happens is I forget about it, and I don't want to forget about that today. So just give me 1 minute. Let me do that. Stop sharing. Open WhatsApp. Uh, okay. By the time my WhatsApp is opening, I'll go back to talking. Let me open. Let me close this. And why is this not open? Come on. Okay. Hmm. So here I'm coming and I'm creating a new folder. I call this 11. And this 11 folder contains building notification service. Building notification service. And today's date is 28th of December 2022. And I come here and I can go to this folder, stop this, cd /11, enter. Okay. Now I was doing something. I was just sending a message to Varsha. Hey, hide this. Hey Varsha. Varsha. I'm not able to complete the notification service. Is extent of today's okay, that's it. Thank you for waiting for 2 minutes. Now we are in the app. In this app, first thing we need to do is node in it. I just do node in it. Let's see what happens. There's a problem. Module not found. npm init, sorry. npm init. Do npm init. It creates a, what is the package name? I can call it notification service. Service. Enter. Version is okay. Description, the service. Send notification to the users of CRM app. Sir, are we creating new npm app for Yes, exactly, Nilanjan. We are creating a new app. Entry point is index.js. I can call it as app.js. I think app.js is a better idea. Yeah, test command I don't want to give. GitHub repository. Do I want to give a GitHub repository? I'm creating a bigger GitHub repository, so I don't give that. Keywords I don't give. Author, let me give it as Anshul because I like my name. do we also need to do what you do? Uh, no hurry, Aaron. You don't need to do. As long as you are pulling the changes from GitHub, you don't have to do this. But it's a good idea if you want to try out this. You can run npm in it to create a empty project license. Yeah, yes. Okay, you don't have to do it as long as you are pulling it from the GitHub. But of course, I think we don't need if we pull it. Yeah, yeah, you can pull it up from my GitHub. But of course, if you want to learn how to do npm in it, you can do this. Now we have this. There will be few things that we'll need for this application. One is Mongoose, so I'll just do npm install Mongoose save. This is going to install Mongoose and save it into. I know save is not required, but I'm using it because it helps me remember that I'm saving it. So it is like a mnemonic that I'm using. I'm going to use Mongoose, and let me see if I need also the. Uh, Let me see if I need cron job. Let me see cron. Node cron. You need a node cron server. So the next thing you need is the node cron. I'm going to install it today itself because I'm installing the packages. So npm install node cron dot save. Let's see if it is getting installed. Hmm. Funding. Anyways, I'm not. I'm just doing npm update. Yeah. Okay. So what we are going to do now is I'm going to show you how the cron job works, uh, and because some of you have still doubts about it, so I'll just do that. I'll close this and I'll go to chapter 11. This is the new chapter, node modules. No, I have to define a new file called as app.js. In this file, I'm going to do const on is equal to require node cron. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is cron.schedule on dot sorry. I wrote it as Chrome. So I want to go to Chroma store or something. Cron job. Cron.schedule. There are three: get task, schedule, and validate. So I'm going to schedule a task. And what does schedule has? There's a cron expression, which is basically 6 stars. It is like this: star, 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 star. Okay. What does that say? It says that how many seconds, how many minutes. This is seconds. This is minutes. This is hours. This is weeks. This is days. This is weeks, and this is, I guess, year. We check what is the chronological order they have on Chrome. Yeah. So the scheduler has few options: second, minute, hour, day of week, and month and day of week. Yeah. So you can define which day of month you want to send. So you can have things like second. You can define what second you want to, how many seconds you want to send the, yeah. Then what you can do is minutes. How many minutes you want to run the cron job? How many hours you want to run the cron job? Days. day of month, which day of the month you want to run the cron job, and which month you want to run the cron job. Suppose you want to run in the last month, uh, you want to run in the last month. You can say, I want only to run in the last month, and that too on the last weekday. Okay, day of the month, and then you can define the day of the week, which day of the week you want to run. So those are of the options you can say, but you don't have to worry about it. For the timing, you just example is what I'm giving. Suppose I want a cron job that runs every 15 seconds, so I'm going to write SR/15. That means I'm going to run this cron job every 15 seconds. And what does this do? This is a simple function that is going to print hello world console.log. Uh, I'll just print something nice. Please take care of your eyes. Okay. Uh, please take care of your eyes. This is a reminder that I should get all the time. So I'm going to get it. I'm going to save this. And now I can run this. You want to reduce it to 5 seconds? Sure, Nilanjan, that's a good idea. I'll save this. And now I'm going to come here and do node, sorry, enter node, node app.js. I mean, I run this. What's the problem? What is the problem? I come here, node building, expression dot replace GI. Is something wrong with the expression? There should be a space or something. Let me close this. Let me leave out some spaces between them. Save this. Go back and run again. Okay, this is working now. Wait for 5 seconds. After 5 seconds, it says, please take care of your eyes. Wait for 5 seconds. Yeah, it will repeat it every 5 seconds. Now, is there anyone in the class who don't understand the concept of cron job? Anyone? Parag, do you understand now what cron job is doing? Yes. Okay. So that's nice to have. I think we are also towards the end of the class. So I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to push these changes, set interval. Yes. Yes, exactly. So like point, yes. Same code we can use for sending message on WhatsApp. Yes, exactly. Second, we can use similar code to send messages on WhatsApp. Yes. Let me go back to the window. Am I sharing? Hey, just a question. Did you see what I was sharing, or I was not sharing the window? Because I think I don't know whether I stopped it now or whether I stopped it. Yeah, okay, so you saw. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Ariana. I almost was scared that I was not sharing and nobody informed. Okay. Okay, sure. Yeah. Okay, that's it. That's it for today. I hope you have enjoyed. If you have any questions, you can ask right now, or you can send me a message on WhatsApp. I always appreciate that. Uh, Bye, everyone. I hope you have fun. I hope you had fun. We don't have number. Oh, you don't have number, Aradhi. I have shared it with the class. Or you can take it from anyone in the class, or I'll share it again. Yeah, here's the number. You can message me. Yeah. See you soon, Kron. Thank you. Thanks. Good night. Good night. Good night, Gauri. Gauri, you were quiet, very quiet today. What happened, Gauri? You are not interacting. Are you able? Are you okay? I didn't see you commenting a lot today. Gauri, Gauri Deshpande, are you okay? Okay. Yeah. Please try to be more interactive. If you're not able to follow, just let me know. Bye, everyone.